I have spiders in my bathroom, in my room, and in my kitchen. I love them all, every single one. To some, this may seem absurd, even grotesque. A home filled with spiders would evoke a shudder in most, a chilling horror. But for me, it's a source of comfort. Every corner of my house, adorned with delicate webs, glistening in the faint morning light, reminds me of their quiet resilience and intricate artistry. These spiders are more than house guests. They are my companions, guardians, and solace in solitude. It wasn't always like this. I used to be like everyone else, filled with dread at seeing a spider's sudden movement. My hand would reach for a paper towel or a shoe, my mind filled with the instinctive impulse to eliminate. But everything changed one autumn day when a small brown spider took up residence in the corner of my bathroom. At first, I watched it with unease, torn between the urge to remove it and an odd curiosity. The spider sat motionless, suspended in its tiny web, as if waiting for some hidden signal. I could have tossed it out. Instead, I let it stay. Days turned into weeks and a ritual formed. Every morning, I'd catch myself checking in on my eight-legged roommate as I brushed my teeth, washing my face under the bathroom's soft glow. I became enthralled by the silent magic unfolding before me, the way it spun its web, thread by thread, each strand a testament to the spider's dedication. Over time, other spiders appeared, one in the kitchen, another near my bedroom window. My house transformed into a world of webs, each one a miniature universe of its own, and my heart softened toward them all. I stopped inviting guests over after a few unfortunate incidents. Some visitors gasped, others yelped, and a few even tried to swat the spiders without a second thought. Their fear, I realized, was primal, and I couldn't begrudge them for it. But I felt a fierce protectiveness for my spiders, a desire to shield them from the world's judgment. So I retreated into my little sanctuary, a place where webs draped the corners and spiders moved with grace and purpose. In winter, my spiders come inside, building thicker webs to trap the last insects of the season. They're masterful architects, each web unique, a fingerprint of its creator. Come summer, they become my allies against mosquitoes and flies, keeping my home free of the incessant buzzing. As I lie awake on restless nights, I find comfort in their delicate dance across the ceiling, their shadows flickering like gentle phantoms. Their movements are hypnotic, a strange lullaby that soothes me to sleep. They're more than mere arachnids. They are weavers of calm, drawing me into a world of quiet contemplation. Most people don't understand, of course. Whenever I share my affection for spiders, I'm met with bewildered glances, nervous laughs, or quick changes of subject. There's a stigma to it, a suspicion. People see spiders as pests, threats to be eradicated. But I see their beauty, the silent elegance of their weaving, the intricate lines that catch the light and turn to gossamer threads in the morning sun. I see creatures that have chosen to live with me, creatures I've come to cherish. Sometimes I wish others could see what I see. I wish they could feel the peace I feel watching a spider at work, crafting its fragile masterpiece, each thread a testament to its existence. But I know that, to most, spiders will remain objects of fear, creatures to be avoided. And that's all right. This is my quiet love, my strange and beautiful secret. It's enough that I understand, that I find joy in their presence. My house, woven with their webs, is more than just a shelter. It's a haven for creatures overlooked, a sanctuary where spiders spend their lives, unbothered and unafraid. And in that shared solitude, we found a harmony that feels as delicate and beautiful as the webs they weave. I often find myself marveling at the resilience of spiders, these ancient creatures who have shared the earth with dinosaurs and witnessed the rise of human civilizations. They are the quiet observers of our world, building webs that have fascinated and inspired cultures for centuries. Ancient civilizations revered them as symbols of patience and creation. In some Native American lore, the spider is seen as the creator of the world, weaving the fabric of existence with each strand. In others, they are tricksters, clever and resourceful. I like to think that in my little sanctuary, these spiders are quietly keeping watch over me, weaving their delicate threads as if to bind our lives together. Over the years, I've come to understand their rhythms, the quiet language they speak through their movements. Each spider has its own personality, its own way of spinning and settling into the web. There's one that lives above my bed who seems to prefer the stillness of the night. I've named it Silk, and I often find myself lying awake, watching Silk glide across the ceiling, its legs moving with a practiced elegance. It feels like a dance, a slow, deliberate choreography performed in the shadows. Sometimes I'll whisper to Silk, sharing my thoughts or worries, and though it can't respond, there's a sense of comfort in speaking to it, as if my words are caught and held in its web. There's a spider in the kitchen, too, who I've affectionately named Spinner. Spinner is a tenacious little creature, tirelessly working on a web that stretches between two shelves, creating an artful lattice that captures the morning light. I've noticed that Spinner seems to enjoy the warmth of the kitchen, staying close to the stove, where the faint heat from cooking lingers. It's in these small rituals, watching them, understanding their habits, that I've found a sense of connection, a feeling of companionship. They are my quiet, watchful friends, weaving beauty into the corners of my home. During the colder months, I find myself checking on them more often, making sure they're safe and warm. I'll carefully open windows for ventilation but take care not to disturb their webs. There's a kind of reverence in these small gestures, a respect for their existence. And when winter deepens, I watch them hunker down, their webs becoming denser, like little fortresses against the cold. I admire their resilience, their ability to adapt and survive in a world that often seems hostile to such delicate creatures. There's something deeply humbling about sharing my home with them. They remind me of the beauty in simplicity, the strength in smallness. They're a reminder that, in a world that often feels overwhelming, it's the quiet moments that bring the most peace. Watching them spin, I feel a connection not just to them but to the natural world around us, a world that is so often overlooked. And so I continue my life among the spiders, each one a tiny, intricate part of my world. They've taught me patience, acceptance, and a kind of quiet joy that I never knew existed. They are my companions in solitude, my teachers, my friends, and in their presence, I have found a peace that feels as fragile and beautiful as the webs they weave. In the quiet of the morning, when the sun filters softly through the windows, I sometimes catch sight of the webs shimmering in the light. They look almost ethereal, like silver threads delicately woven into the fabric of my home. It's in these still, early hours that I feel closest to them, these silent guardians of my space. Each web is a work of art, a fragile masterpiece that holds so much more than meets the eye. I think about the way spiders are perceived by the world. They're so often misunderstood, feared, or outright hated. But there is such beauty in their lives, such quiet resilience. They work tirelessly, crafting webs that seem to defy gravity, balancing on the finest strands as they weave. There's a lesson there, I think, a reminder that sometimes the things we fear hold a beauty we might never see unless we take the time to look closer. As the seasons shift, so too does the rhythm of their lives. In the spring, the house comes alive with new webs as young spiders emerge, adding their own delicate patterns to the tapestry of my home. I feel a sense of pride in these new arrivals, watching them grow and venture out, leaving tiny traces of silk in the corners of rooms. They're a reminder of life's endless cycle, of nature's persistence and beauty. And though my home may seem unconventional to some, to me, it feels alive, a place where life flourishes, where webs glisten, and where spiders dance. In moments of doubt or loneliness, I find solace in their presence. They are my constant companions, weaving silently through my days and nights, their tiny bodies moving with a grace that is almost meditative. Sometimes as I watch them, I wonder what they see, what they think of the world, of me. Do they know that they're safe here, that they're cherished? I like to believe they do. I like to think that, in some small way, they recognize that this home is as much theirs as it is mine. So I continue to share my life with them, grateful for the peace they bring, the quiet beauty they weave into the fabric of my days. They've taught me to see the world differently, to find wonder in the smallest of things. And in their company, I've found a sense of belonging that feels rare and precious, a quiet joy that fills my heart with gratitude. My spiders, my silent friends, have become a part of me, woven into my story just as they've woven their webs into the corners of my home. And together we move through life, bound by threads both delicate and enduring, each one a testament to the beauty of connection, the quiet power of nature, and the joy of finding peace in the most unexpected places. As time has passed, I've come to see that my relationship with these spiders is more than just an odd quirk. In a world that feels increasingly fast-paced and overwhelming, they've reminded me of the beauty in stillness, the value in simple, quiet moments. Each web, delicately crafted and almost invisible until it catches the light, feels like a reminder to slow down, to breathe, to appreciate the small, overlooked wonders around us. Sometimes I imagine that the spiders and I share a kind of understanding, a silent agreement. They allow me into their world, and in return, I give them the space to live as they choose. They're tiny, fragile creatures, but in their presence, I've found a strength I never knew I had. Their webs are a testament to resilience, to the power of persistence. They've taught me that we're all part of something larger, interconnected, and interdependent, whether we recognize it or not. When I think about the future, I can't imagine my home without them. They've become part of the fabric of my life, their webs as familiar as the walls themselves. There will always be people who don't understand, who recoil at the idea of sharing a space with spiders. But that's all right. Not everyone has to see what I see. For me, my house, filled with these gentle, unassuming creatures, is a sanctuary, a place where I can find peace, where I can feel a connection to nature, to life itself. One night, as I lay in bed, watching silk drift across the ceiling in that slow, deliberate way, I realized that I wasn't just cohabiting with these spiders. I was growing with them. They had woven their way into my heart, showing me the quiet, enduring beauty of their world. And in that moment, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude, a deep appreciation for the life we shared. So I'll continue to live alongside them, watching as they build their webs and spin their stories. We found a harmony, a rhythm, an understanding. And as I watch them, I realize that I, too, am part of their world, a thread woven into their lives, just as they have woven themselves into mine. In this little world we've created together, I find a strange, wonderful kind of comfort. I may be the only one who sees them this way, but that's okay. This is my world, my story, woven with threads of silk and shadow, a testament to the beauty that exists in even the smallest, most unlikely places. And for me, that is more than enough.